You are watching Singapore Business Review. Joining us today is Wen-Ming, Vice President and Managing Director at Southeast Asia of UiPath, a global software company that offers an end-to-end platform for automation. Welcome, Wen-Ming.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for having us, and we'd be delighted to be on the show. Thank you once again.
Glad to have you here. So, before anything else, just to give our viewers some context, can you describe the current fintech landscape in Singapore and what UiPath does?
Yeah, absolutely. I think fintech is a market that it's absolutely exploding here in Singapore, especially in Singapore. My personal remit is across Southeast Asia and Singapore from a governance standpoint, from a financial activity standpoint. I think it's an amazing market for fintech. Our last count, we're looking at about 750 different entities of fintech here just residing in Singapore, and that accounts over 40% of all fintech's entities across Southeast Asia. So if you want to be in fintech sector, I think this is the right place to be in, Seth.
So, in your opinion, is the financial sector ready for software automation?
Yeah, absolutely. The financial sector is probably the sweetest spot for all intelligent automation in the space of robotic process automation. Why so? If you look at the financial sector moving from the traditional banking, insurance sector into the new world of fintech, it's all about the need to serve our client much faster, able to resolve any needs of the client much quicker, and the lead time to serve has to be a lot more effective and efficient. And therefore, we believe the space of robotic process automation, it's an absolute sweet spot for all financial institutions to embark on to improve the client satisfaction, the top line improvement, as well as optimizing its back office operation.
Now, what are examples of software automation being applied in Singapore based banking and financial sectors? Can you give us some?
Yeah, absolutely, Says. One area that we see a lot of adoption from financial services institution, it's, for example, the area of client onboarding. The current process is very manual, lots of forms to be filled, either electronically or manually. And all this mundane work, we believe, could be absolutely automated. I'll give an example that we've done recently with a bank in Indonesia, a mega bank, where they have just deployed RPA into the customer service back office, which reduces its time to serve by 65%. Instead of taking hours, by adopting intelligent automation through RPA, they're able to reduce from hours to 6 minutes of responding to a client's need, especially in the area of client onboarding, in the area of compliance, in the area of validation. I think those are the sweet areas that most financial institutions realize the maximum benefit of turning the mundane manual tasks into a fully automated process from inception to the completion of the client's needs.
Now, can you share us what challenges do you usually face when introducing software automation to clients? And of course, how do you address them?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. The traditional challenge of adopting software automation is the fundamental question about, do we have IT skill sets in the organization? But with the advancement of technology, and certainly from UiPath, we believe in low-code, no-code approach. In fact, our recent release is all adopting a graphical user interface to develop your own IT boards. Now, what does it mean to the general adoption of RPA within the financial service institution? It says that a non-IT person, a business person, even an elderly person like myself, we'll be able to create a bot to automate some of the business processes that we're doing today. So the biggest hurdle of IT skill sets goes away when we push the adoption of low code, no code, or graphical user interface to drive the adoption and development of bots. So we believe through the adoption of new technology allow us to drive high adoption and utilization of bots to optimize business processes.
So we're seeing a lot of advantages here. So Wen-Ming, are there also risks present in the adoption of software automation?
Hmm. So I guess the higher risk of adopting are twofold. First, it's probably more of a cultural adoption of IT for non-IT user. And to overcome that risk of cultural adoption, I think it's a need to drive a high level of awareness, a high level of enablement, and perhaps element of fear of IT. And I think based on what we discussed earlier, driving a more user-friendly adoption of bots development through graphical user interface addresses that. The second one is probably more technical. In any fintech environment or any banking institution, there are always legacy systems as well as the newer systems. And therefore, it is important that as an organization embarks on a intelligent automation process, we have to take account into first refining where are the processes that we need to optimize. Secondly, we look at the legacy system as well as the new system that's in place and how do we put that integration together. In UiPath, we have a well thought through model. We call it the automation operating model that advise and guides organization through this process to make sure that all institution gets its maximum utilization and efficiency of the bots they put in place to drive the process optimization.
Aside from what you mentioned earlier, do you also hold, let's say, trainings for those who are not yet that familiar with how software automation works?
Yeah, I think what you just raised is perhaps the most important element of driving adoption. It's all about training, it's all about enablement, it's all about awareness. In UiPath, we have this program called the Citizen Development. Citizen development is all about enabling all members of the organization, both IT savvy as well as non-IT savvy, to be able to embark on the journey of realizing how automation could assist in the business processes. Now, on top of that, we are also seeing there is a high demand of now IT skill sets in organization and in the community to support the demand created by the corporate enterprises. We believe in UiPath, we want to drive that knowledge into various institutions, into universities, into polytechnics. And we have a program called the Academic Alliances, which is active in Singapore right now with most polytechnics and universities, where we have actually embedded the RPA into the curriculum so that we believe when the students graduate from school, they are already equipped to address and meet the needs and the demand of automation in the corporate enterprise market. So it's both a pull factor as well as a push factor to make sure that the demands of the corporate enterprises are met by the skill sets in the community, which are largely the students graduating from school to be able to meet that demand that's expected in the society.
Lastly, Wen-Ming, are you expecting trends or are there specific trends in software automation that could help the financial sector this year?
Yeah, there's an exciting trend, and of course, artificial intelligence and machine learning it's a given. I mean, if you look at Singapore government, they have been advocating, sponsoring, funding the adoption of AI and machine learning. The recent development we've done within UiPath is a term called semantic automation. It's all about emulating human mankind when we come to robotic process automation. Instead of defining every single step, semantic automation will be able to understand the context of the automation and addresses a major chunk of the needs automatically rather than manually done by the programmer or by the developer of the boards. So we believe semantic automation is going to shape the world of software adoption across the fintech industry and certainly here in Singapore.
Thank you for joining us today, Wen-Ming.
Thank you for having us. Thank you.
Again, that was Wong Wen-Ming, Vice President and Managing Director of Southeast Asia at UiPath. For more business news, don't forget to visit sbr.com.sg, where you can find articles, interviews, and event updates. This is S. De Malanta reporting for Singapore Business Review.